you're going to be stuck out in the middle of nowhere and you don't know what you're going to be able to get, this is when you need to have backup plans. This is when you need to have a contingency plan. You need to...
Welcome to the Healthy Celiac Show. I'm your host, Belinda Whelan from belindawhelan.com, and here you will learn to live your very best life with celiac disease. So we are going to be talking all about health-related topics because you, my friend, are more than just a woman with celiac disease. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss an episode, and welcome to the show.
Now, this time of the year, many people tend to go away for a few days, whether that be to visit family and friends or to be staying closer to loved ones to celebrate the Christmas and New Year period. So if that's you, this episode is for you. And if you're not doing that, this could help you in the years and the months to come anyway, if you're just going away for a couple of days at a time. So when we go away for a few days, it's almost as hard as being away for weeks on end. We still need to prepare. Still need to take everything that we need with us to be able to be healthy and stay happy with our celiac disease and make sure that we don't get sick. So this episode is going to help you make sure that you know exactly what you need to be doing and taking with you. So let's jump into it. All right, so let's just say that you're going somewhere that you've never been before and you don't know what to expect. I would personally be jumping on the internet and I'd be looking at local shops that are going to be open, local takeaway places, and finding out where you can get safe food. You may struggle, you may not be able to find anything. So do you know what happens? You need to take everything with you. And we kind of joke about this in the celiac community that, you know, we have one suitcase for our clothes and one suitcase for our food. And it's no joke. We actually do need to take food with us. We need to have backup plans. And I don't know about you, but I always have food in my handbag. I never leave the house without food. There's always something in my handbag that I could grab if I was caught out and didn't find any food. So always need to be taking food with us. But when we're going away for a couple of days or, you know, up to a week, we definitely need to take some supplies with us. So what can we do? What can we take with us? You can either be really organized and take some meals with you that you've pre-prepared, or you could buy meals that are cooked. You know, there's companies out there that make meals that are already pre-packaged, and take them with you. And it's just a matter of heating them up when you get to your destination, or you take some ingredients and supplies that you can make something where you're going. But when we say that, there's that, you know, that scary factor of we don't really know what the situation is with cross-contamination. You know, if you might be staying in an Airbnb and you don't know what the situation is with the chopping boards and, you know, they might have non-stick pans that are full of scratches and full of little bits of gluten in there. You just don't know what you're going to face. So it's super important to have options that if you don't want to eat out, you don't want to risk not being able to get some safe gluten-free food, that you've got some safe options to take with you. So I usually would take breakfast with me. That's usually an option whenever I go anywhere. I just like to have my own breakfast option, even if it's as simple as taking a loaf of bread and some condiments in some small jars, and then taking my toaster bags. I think I've talked about these with you guys before. So they're just little bags that you insert into a toaster or a grill, whatever you want to make your toast in. And that way your bread is kept safe and away from any gluten. So they're really easy options for a breakfast. You could go the whole hog and take a whole heap of different things and make a really easy breakfast. Whether, you know, you're taking we call them eskies here in Australia. I know some places call them coolers. So yeah, you can take away an esky. I'm going to use the word esky because that's what I know. So you can take an esky with some ice and you can put things in there like, you know, yogurt and fruit and things like that, nuts and seeds, and take them with you, and you could just mix them up and have them for breakfast, or you can have them for an easy snack. So definitely be taking food that you can very easily have without using anyone else's utensils or cooking gear, and having that safe option for you. Now, road trips. When just say you're driving somewhere and you're in the car for a long period of time and you're going to be stuck out in the middle of nowhere and you don't know what you're going to be able to get, this is when you need to have backup plans. This is when you need to have a contingency plan. You need to definitely be able to have the food that you've got with you no matter what, because it's much harder to find healthy, safe food whenever we've driven interstate. So for those of you that know Australia, to get from South Australia to New South Wales or Victoria is a really long drive. Like, when you've got kids in the car, it can take you over 8 hours to get from one place to the next. So when we've driven from here to New South Wales, we can't just stop into roadhouses and get me food, because they look at you like you've got two heads when you ask for gluten-free food. It's all kind of deep fried and unhealthy crap that I don't know whether truckies and people on the road all the time are eating, but there just doesn't seem to be any healthy or safe options for us with celiac disease. So whenever we've gone on road trips, I have always taken enough food to last me in the car, definitely. And then on the way back, I've made sure that I've prepared food and brought back with me to come back over to South Australia and have that safe food. Another one here in Australia is we have to be very careful with crossing borders. Some states won't let you take fruit and vegetables into, some states will. So that can be a little bit tricky. And depending on where you live, you may have that rule as well. It's not as bad with cooked food, but with fresh food, it can be a big no-no. So we have an issue here in South Australia where you're not allowed to bring fruit in, and it's to stop fruit fly from being introduced into our state. So it can be quite upsetting if you've bought a heap of fruit and you come into the state and that gets taken off of you. So check what your regulations are as far as, fruit and vegetables and things like that, because I personally love having fruit with me when I travel. I find it's really easy. You can just eat it on the go. You don't have to do any preparation, and it's just really easy and healthy, and there's no issues with it apart from, crossing borders and making sure that it's safe to take into certain states. So I'm not going to go into the whole logistics of that. You need to just work it out wherever you are, because it obviously varies for every country and different states as well. So if you can, fruits and vegetables, you could cut up celery and carrots and cucumber, capsicum, whatever, have a little dip pot and have, a little car picnic on the way. You can make a pretty easy little snack out of just some veggie sticks and some dip. So I find that's a really great go-to, some corn chips, things like that. And, you can get through a few hours in the car, anything up to 4 hours. It's pretty easy to survive off some snacky things, but it's getting to your destination and knowing that you've got some safe options when you get there. If you're staying with family and friends, then I would recommend that you take your own food still and have things like your condiments and things like that just in little jars, just so, you don't have to miss out when you get to their house, because you cannot expect to be staying with people that haven't been putting their knives into their own jam jar, and it's going to be full of gluten, so we can't be using that. So, if you just take a little bit with you, you don't have to get to that destination and then hit the shops and be buying all of this stuff. You can just take a little bit from home. So that's definitely something that can save you a fair bit of money as well, because you don't have to be buying, big jars of it and leaving it behind. And what tends to happen as well, if you explain it to who you're staying with, that's off limits to everyone else. They know that that's your stuff then, because it's mini, and I personally put gluten-free stickers on everything so that people know, and it just keeps it that little bit safer. But we do need to be explaining to the people that we're staying with what we can and can't have, and I just think it's communication. I think it's talking about it. It's not hiding the fact that you've got celiac disease. It's not making a big deal out of it as far as don't apologize. Don't ever apologize that you're being inconvenient, because you're not. You're just looking after your health and you're doing the best for you and making sure that you enjoy your time away just as you deserve. So don't ever apologize for having celiac disease, or if your child has celiac disease and you feel like it's a bother or a burden. It is not. People that are allowing you into their home and welcoming, probably more welcoming, not allowing, welcoming you into their home, they love you. They want you there. So you are not a burden. You are not, putting them out. You do you, and you do the best that you can without apologizing, and you enjoy your time and you enjoy the company of your friends and your family. And, when you're comfortable and you're relaxed because you're organized, you'll have a much better time. So rather than being stressed out and highly strung and anxious because you didn't plan and you weren't organized, then, that's what happens. We get exhausted. We get that mental fatigue because, oh my God, now you can't eat anything. Or, you rocked up and they had a dinner there ready for you and it wasn't gluten-free. Well, that's not on them. That's on us. Unfortunately, that's always on us, because we need to phone ahead. We need to talk to the people that we're staying with. We need to let them know what our needs are. We need to discuss these things. We can send them some information. For those of you that have got Ultimate Celiac System, you've got some amazing resources in your course that you can send to family and friends to make sure that they're looking after you with the cross-contamination and making sure that they know what gluten is in. So you can definitely use them and forward them on to your loved ones or your friends, whoever you're staying with, and make sure that they're keeping you safe. So that's a really helpful way of being prepared. So definitely do that if you've got access to the course. Be sure to send on that paperwork, because it's there for you and it's a lifesaver. It can make a massive difference. So I hope that those little bits and pieces help you. I'm sure that they will. And like anything, it's being prepared, isn't it? It's being prepared. It's planning ahead. It's making those phone calls. It's knowing where you're going to be going. You don't want to be rocking up Christmas Eve with no food and there's no shops open and there's not going to be anything open for a couple of days. So, being prepared takes away that stress. It takes away the anxiety. It makes you feel better within yourself. You can enjoy the holiday. Your kids don't see you stressed out and poor mum or dad missing out, or, mum's not eating again because there's nothing there for her to eat. You need to make sure that you provide options for yourself. If you haven't listened to my episode about Christmas, go back and have a listen to that, because there's some really great tips in that episode for you as well. So that more highlights what we can do for Christmas Day and those celebrations. But this episode, I just wanted to talk about on the travel side of things and being organized with that. So take your toaster bags, take your food, take your options, take your condiments, have some safe meals. Even if they're frozen, you may not even need to use them. Just keep them in your cooler, keep them in your esky, and you might need them, you might not. But the thing is, when you have a backup plan, you're set. You are absolutely set. And it just takes away that stress and your mindset will be completely different. You'll be so much more relaxed. I want you to enjoy this time. I want you to be relaxed and I want you to feel loved and nurtured. But you need to love and nurture yourself first before other people will do it for you. So you need to let people know what your needs are and you need to look after yourself. So make sure you do that and make sure you enjoy this period of time, because that's what I want for you. I want you happy. I want you healthy. And, we've got one precious life on this earth. So let's make it count. Let's make it, the best that we can and really enjoy this beautiful time of the year. If you enjoyed this episode, head to belindawhelan.com to get yourself a free copy of my exclusive ebook, 11 Mistakes People Make Going Gluten-Free Living with Celiac Disease.